So it's that time already. Book 4, The War Within Us of the Soulbound Saga. Right, this is the audio book for it. I'm gonna do one chapter at a time and see how it goes. It's finally here. First entry is The Angel of the Sea. It's before chapter 1, if you know what I mean. They think I forgot. They think I sank beneath the waves and stayed there. But the sea does not forget. Either do I. I was there when they dragged him across the sand and watched them dug a hole too small for a man and too deep for peace. I heard the priest say no. I heard the whispers. Let the devil have him. And yet they still buried him. Let the devil have him. And yet they still buried him. They called that burial, yet it wasn't. It was punishment disguised as closure. A curse written in soil. They cut a triangle into the ground like it would protect him. 3 sighs, 3 lies. He did bad things, they said. He didn't deserve a grave. But they didn't see what I saw. Not just a man, a soul. Twisting beneath the weight of everything, they couldn't face themselves. The earth took him, but it never wanted him. And I felt it year after year. His unrest pushing between the roots, disturbing the tides. I stayed back for years. I stayed beneath. But no one came. No one spoke his name. They left him to rot in silence, in shadows. And now I'm coming up. Not to ask, not to explain. To take back what never should be left behind. She broke the surface, where the surf meets the dark. Half shades, half moonlight. Her hair moved like liquid silver, catching every breath of starlight when she whispers to be remembered. Wings unfurled, mist shaped into feathers, barred a drop as suspended sea light. Wherever her bare feet touched the water, runes blew into pale gold and faded back into the tide. To mortal eyes, she was only a woman, strange and pale. For those who were born with the mark, she was water threaded with stars. Her white could not keep their shape, part light, part tide. And when she felt still, even the seagulls felt silent, and the sea held its breath. She should have not had to come back. The wind has warned them. The sea rose, the sky split, and still they left him there. Her anger wasn't fire, it was pressure. It built like tides under stone, like storms in the chest of the world. She rose through the ocean with her fist clenched and her jaw locked. The angel of the sea rise for ceremony. She rose for reckoning. He has been buried in shame, buried in a pit that wasn't made for souls, but for discarding them. They called it a grave, but it wasn't. It was a punishment. Cowardice dressed up as wastrel. A triangle cut into a land wide enough to pretend it was mercy. She named it Moor's Hand in the old tongue. Guide of the drowned, keeper of the tide of memory. She could draw back what water had claimed. A name, a promise, a soul. But always at a price. Something precious had to be surrendered to the depths. Dare to trap a soul in the mouth of earth and left it there? She has felt him for years, for centuries, flickering beneath her surface. Always watching, always waiting. Samuel Romilly was not good, but he was not forgotten. And the land had started to turn sour around him. Not because who he was, but for what they did. She hovered above Porthkerry now. The devil's graveyard lay beneath her, unchanged, still dry in the centre, still avoided by birds. The wind shifted away from it, like it didn't want to touch the place. But she did. She discarded. Feet didn't touch sand. Her body glue in spirals, silver light braided with green-blue fur. Her wings unfurry like thunder clouds stitched with moonlight. You left him too long, her finger curled. She didn't knock. She tore through the ground with one motion. A line of white heat slamming downwards like lightning, and then she grabbed him. Not his bones, his soul, his shape, what was left of it. It screamed up through her arms, old cracks, furious, but she held firm. She tried to resist. Too late. You don't get to rot, she missed. You rise. The grey spat dust. The wind went backwards, and the sea ran loud and sharp at the chapel bow, cracked clean off its tower and dropped screaming into the water below. She turned. Her hair snapped into strands of electric salt. Her face was lit by something no one could name, and she descended, not as a saviour, as a storm. In seconds she vanished into the clouds, leaving behind a silence so deep the land itself bent, and in the triangle pit there was nothing left. He's not in the pit anymore. The earth no longer holds him. I didn't come to forgive. I didn't come to punish. I come to collect. You wanted to forget what you did. You built houses around it, fenced it off, covered it in maps of myths. But a soul didn't stop echoing just because you stopped listening. He was never the only one. There was others buried like him. Others cursed by silence. Others waiting. So if you felt the ground shift, if you heard the bow dropped into the sea and didn't know why, let this be your warning. I'm not done, and the sea is never still for long. He's not in the pit anymore. The earth no longer holds him. I didn't come to forgive him. I didn't come to punish him. I came to collect him. You tried to forget what you did. You fenced it off, covered in its myths, pretended it never happened. But a soul didn't stop echoing just because people stopped listening. He wasn't the only one. There are others buried like him, others cursed by silence, others still waiting. So, if you heard the bow fall into the sea, if the waves rose without wind and you didn't know why, this is your warning. The war hasn't started yet, but it's already awakening. She turned to leave. Then something shifted. The air shimmered. A shape appeared near the tide. A boy was standing there, barefoot, faintly glowing. He looked about 10 years old, but his eyes were so sharp to knowing they looked like hers. "You always come here," he said quietly, "to my past, even though I'm not born yet." She stepped forward, tense. "You shouldn't be here." "Where should he?" the boy replied, glancing up at the sky. "They're watching, hunting. You know he'll come." She didn't respond. She always knew what he meant. "If your father set foot on this earth," she said, "nothing will stop the war." The boy nodded once. Then he vanished completely, without a trace. The angel of the sea stood alone again, sea water clearing around her ankles, and high above her, beyond the mist and the clouds, the stars were burning hotter than they had in centuries.